Hello everyone, welcome to Ganit. Good afternoon. I hope your preparations are going all right. And so, in our series of lectures, we are going to start arithmetic progression today. It's an important topic from board's perspective. It has almost 7 to 8 different types of questions, which we are going to talk about as in when we move along in this topic. Um, Roughly, somewhere between 5 to 7 marks is usually what they ask in board exams from this particular topic. For icse students, after arithmetic progression, we have another topic named geometric progression. cbse students learn only arithmetic progression. They don't have a geometric progression, so I will create a separate video on geometric progressions, but for now we are going to focus on the ap. So first we will start with the basic formulas. Okay guys, so nth term, which is referred as Tn, is a plus n minus 1 times d, where by now you would all know that a is the first term of an AP, while d is the common difference of an AP. Correct? Now, a plus n minus 1 into d, I would say, is also a formula for the last term of an AP. So nth term and the last term have pretty much the same formula. So sometimes they will be interchanged, So in while solving a question, if it is mentioning anything about the last term, please do not hesitate in using the same formula. A plus n minus 1 into d pretty much resembles the last term as well. Okay. Now there is another formula related to the positioning of term I want to talk about. Nth term from end. So if you start counting your AP from the last term and move towards the first term, then how you would position nth term. So nth term will be counting from end L minus n minus 1 into D, and as you have guessed, L is the last term. Okay. So this is how you find the nth term from the end. When we are counting from the end, it's obvious that the last term of the AP will be mentioned, or some other information related to the last term would be given, which you can further use and figure out the positioning of the term, whatever the question is asking. Okay. Talking about the questions that can be asked using these basic formulas, first thing is you have to understand that every single problem from arithmetic progression is related to two different things, two very important things: the first term and the common difference. So 99% chances are that if you are solving a question from arithmetic progression and you are able to figure out the values of a and d, the question is done. Okay. Now, what you have to understand, something similar you have done in linear equation in two variables. Let me remind you. If you remember correctly, whenever we had to find two variables, x and y, what we needed was two equations. Correct? So what we learned in linear equation in two variables was that if you have to find the values of two variables, you need two equations. If you have to find the value of three variables, you need three equations, and so and so. Correct? Now, just 10 seconds back, I told you that solving any AP question, you need what? Two values, A and D. That means two unknowns are there. And comparing it with linear equation, what we can conclude that we need two equations. Because if two unknowns are there, you are going to need two equations minimum to find out their values. Therefore, every time you solve an AP question, it will have two pieces of information. Always remember, two separate pieces of information will be there in an AP question. You will create equations for both of them in terms of A and D, and then from there on, you will get the values. Okay, the value of A and D, and then from there on, whatever the question is asking, you can find it out. Very important thing, in questions, a lot of times they would say fifth term of an AP, 17th term of an AP. You will read the question the way it is written, but know at the back of your mind, the moment they say fifth term of an AP, they are talking about A plus 4D. The moment they say 17th term of an AP, they are talking about A plus 16D. So you have to precisely know that when they are giving you the position of term, They are actually giving you a relationship between A and D. They are not just telling you that boss fifth term has a relation with 17th term. No, they are telling you that boss, you have two different equations in two different variables. Solve them simultaneously and you will get the values of A and D. And as a result, the final part of the question as well, whatever it is asking. Okay, so be very careful of this thing. All right, let's talk a little bit more about some basic application of AP. In AP, sometimes the questions may be asked on the very nature of an arithmetic progression. I'll give you an example. The question says k minus 2, k plus 3 and k are in AP. Find k. What is the nature of AP? How is a series of numbers, how can you call a sequence of numbers, a series of numbers, as an arithmetic progression when their common difference is same? When the second term minus the first term gives you a value which you get by third term minus second term, or fourth term minus third term. So the nature of AP is what? When you subtract the first term from the second, you'll get a number. But when you subtract the second term from the third, you'll get the same number. When you subtract the third term from the fourth, you'll get the same number. And that's how we come to the term common difference. So the nature of AP is that if there are 5 terms also given to you in an AP, the common difference has to stay common. So what you will do in such questions is k plus 3 minus k minus 2 should be equals to k minus k plus 3. So second term minus first term should be same as third term minus second term, and from there on you can find a value of k. Now it is not going to be a 3 or 4 marks question. It's going to be an easy MCQ or a 2 marks question, but it's still, nevertheless, it still counts. It will still get you some marks. Okay. So this is the fundamental of arithmetic progression related to positioning of term. Nth term, 10th term, 15th term, 7th term, whatever. Okay. Now we will talk about the sum of n terms. Sum of n terms means all those terms that you just found, you add them up. Okay. So addition of all the terms leads you to sum of n terms, and the formula is n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. But do you honestly think that this is the only formula for the sum of n terms of an AP? No. So very smartly you have to work here. I'm going to show you something. So n by 2 and 2a can be written as a plus a, and then we have n minus 1 into d. Now a plus n minus 1 into d is also the last term of an AP. We just saw it here. If you notice here, a plus n minus 1 into d is the last term. So we can write n by 2 and a, and this entire term can be replaced with L. So n by 2 times a plus L gives you the sum of n terms. Okay. Related to sum of the terms only, we have one more type of question, one more type of concept, not very important for the boards, but it also makes since it has not been asked many times in boards, it also makes it a possible candidate for the exam this year. So I'm not too sure. I don't know if it will come or not, but I want to still talk about it. So in a situation where 3, 4, 5 terms, this is the only part which is there in your syllabus. You don't have to know about 2 terms, you don't have to know about 6 terms, 3, 4 and 5 terms. And so I will write how the question will go. So if the question has sum of 3, 4 and 5 terms given, then your assumption for those 3, 4 and 5 terms should be what exactly? 3 terms you assume as a minus d, a and a plus d. 4 terms you will assume as a minus 3d, a minus d, a plus d and a plus 3d. And 5 terms you will assume as a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d and a plus 2d. Now the very natural question, the most obvious question that is asked to me it is expected from me is how. How are we assuming this? I mean, if the question says that there are three terms in an AP, why not just assume them as A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D? Why assume it as A minus D, A and A plus D? Let me show you. So I will go with your assumption first, A plus D, and A plus 2D. And when you add this, sum of the terms is given. I have written here, sum of the terms is given. So you will obviously add them. And what will you get? A. So you have 3A, and you have 3D is equals to something. Let's just say some number is given. What you need to understand is that you are practically creating an equation in two variables. Now let's talk about the approach that I am mentioning. So if three terms were given, I would assume my terms to be A minus D plus A and plus A plus D. The benefit of this is the minus D and plus D cancels out. You are only left with an equation in one variable. So with your approach, you are left with two variables. With my approach, you are left with one variable. And it's not my approach. It's a universal approach. Everyone takes this. You just have to know. You just have to know the format of the question where you have to take this approach. And if you understand the format of the question, then everything is sorted. So by this approach, what you are getting is an equation in terms of A. By the first approach, by the normal approach, you get an equation in terms of A and D, two variables. And I don't have to tell you this, you are smart enough to know that if an equation has one variable, that has to be the obvious choice, right? So the criteria of that kind of question is the question should mention the sum of 3, 4, 5 terms in an AP. So if number of terms is 3, 4, and 5, and if they mention the sum of those terms like 15, 20, 30, whatever, then you have to use this concept. So I hope this is clear by now. We are going to start with the questions now, and let's see how it moves. Okay, so the question says fourth term of an AP is 22. I won't read it further. I want to talk about this. So when I mentioned you that fifth term of an AP is A plus 4D, this is exactly what I was talking about. What I had mentioned was that if the question says fourth term, 15th term, you don't have to think like fourth term and 15th term. You have to think that when it says fourth term, I practically have A plus 3D given to me. So think in terms of simultaneous equation. Then you will clearly start thinking in terms of elimination of variables, and then you will start seeing that A and D are just two variables which are unknowns. I just have to find them. That's all it takes, okay? So A plus 3D is given to us as 22. A plus 14D is given to us as 66, right? So we have two equations simultaneous. We will eliminate the variable. A cancels out. 3 minus 14 is negative 11D. 22 minus 66 is negative 44. So D is equals to 4. That's all it takes. So once you have the value of the common difference, the question says find the sum of the series to 8 terms. First, remember what did I mention in this thing? I had told you that we need two things to solve any AP question, A and D. What you just found was the value of D, correct? So we need the answer for A. What we will do, we have to go back here, we will substitute. So we'll have A plus 3 times 4 is equals to 22. So A is equals to 22 minus 12 and A is equals to 10. The value of A is 10. What is the question saying? Series, the sum of the series to 8 terms, meaning the value of n is 8. Okay, let's see. So sum of 8 terms is equals to 8 by 2, the formula n by 2, and then 2a, which is 2 into 10 and plus n minus 1, so 8 minus 1 into d, which is 4. So 8 by 2 is what? 4. So we have 4, we have a 20, we have 8 minus 7 is 8 minus 1 is 7, 7 4 is a 28. So we basically have 4 times 48. So 4 8s are 32, 3, 90, and 192 is your final answer. Okay, so remember they might be mentioning fourth term, 10th term, and whatever. You are looking at a simultaneous solving of two equations. You are not looking at the fourth term, you're not looking at the 10th term. You extract what you want from the question. You don't fall for the information that they are trying to feed you. Okay, let's move to the next question, guys. All right, so the question says if the sum of first 7 terms of an AP, so there is one AP here, and that of the first 17 terms is okay. So this is a question where they are saying that we have an AP. Let's just say it has 20, 25, whatever number of terms, and they're saying the first 7 terms add up to 119 and the first 17 terms add up to 714. So if you remember, they are giving you information in terms of this S7 and S17. For S7, what we will do, the formula will be n by 2. I will write the formula on the side. N by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. So 7 by 2 and 2a, we don't know what the value of a is. So 2a plus 7 minus 1, which is 6 times d. We don't know the value of d as well. So if you simplify this, 7 by 2 and 2 is common here. So you'll get a plus 3d. 2 and 2 cancels out and you get 7 times a plus 3d, which gives you 119. So that's what they said, right? One second. So they had mentioned that 7 times a plus 3d is equals to 1119. The sum of first 7 terms of an AP is 119. Okay, so if you simplify this, you will get 7a plus 21d is equals to 119, equation number 1. Remember, I'm again going back to that same concept. I'm creating simultaneous equations and I will get rid of the variables. I'll have my answer. Okay, but for any answer to be found, I need the values of a and d. Do not forget that. Okay, now for S17, we are going to do something similar. So 17 by 2 and 2a plus 17 minus 1 is 16d. So if you think about it, 17 by 2 and 2 is common, you will get a plus 8d. 2 and 2 cancels out. You have 17a plus 126d. Okay. So, sorry, 136, 8 7 56, 6 carry 5. Yeah, 136, my bad. 136d. And this is equals to 714. See, it's being told here, the information that they had given. 714 is the number. So this is your equation number 2. So we have our two equations, two variables. We'll eliminate them, and from there we'll get the values of a and d. So this looks like a big calculation, guys. So let me write the equations first. 17a plus 136d is equals to 714. And 7a, I think I did a mistake here. I'm so sorry. I should have made the equation simpler. I made it complicated. I went against the policy that I have. Make your question easier, not solve it the way it is given. So a plus 3d is actually equals to 7 ones are 7, 49. So 7 sevens are 49. Equation number 1 should be this. What I did was I took the 7 this side and divided the number. I should have done the same thing here as well. Let me clean it up. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I complicated the numbers too much, I believe. So what we have is 17a, sorry, 17 times a plus 8d, and that is equals to 714. That means a plus 8d is equals to 714 by 17. 17 fours are 68, 34, 17 twos are. So the equations that I have with me is a plus 8d is equals to 42 and a plus 3d is equals to 17. Now I will simply eliminate the variables. 8 minus 3 is 5d and 42 minus 17 is, I believe, 25. That gives us the value of d as 5. Now once I have the value of d, I can come back to any one of the equations, equation 1 or 2, and substitute. So that means a plus 15 is equals to 17. So a is equals to 2. I took the 15 this side. How did I get 15? 3 5s are 50. Okay. So common difference was 5. I had just found it, right? Now I'm going to solve the question further. The question says find the sum of its first n terms. First n terms means they are not specifying n. That means the answer that you will get will be in terms of n. Okay, so n by 2, 2a means 4, n minus 1, and common difference is 5. Okay, so if you simplify this, you get 4 5n minus 5. That means 5n minus 1, and the n by 2 will just tag along. So n by 2 times 5n minus 1. That's your answer. Okay, so this is how you solve the question. Even here, what I was chasing, simultaneous equation, two variables a and b, eliminate, job done. Okay, so I hope you have all understood this question as well. Let's move on to the next question, please. Okay, okay, this is a very good question. This is also a concept in itself. I would like to explain you something before I solve this question. So suppose a question says that sum of n terms is 2 plus 3n. A simple equation. They're not giving you the value like a numerical value. They're saying that sum of n terms of an AP is represented by an expression. So if you have an expression to work with, what you do is you keep substituting the values of n as 1, 2, 3, and so and so. The problem here is that if you substitute n as 1, if I have the formula of Sn and I'm replacing n as 1, what do I get, guys? What do I really find? Sum of first term, right? Sum of n terms and n replaced with 1. So sum of 1 terms and sum of 1 terms is precisely what? Just the first term itself. There is no sum involved if you are writing only one term, right? So when we substitute n as 1, we get the first term of the AP. So that is 2 plus 3, which is 5. So this is fine. Till now, everything is okay. So we have found the first term of the AP. But the moment you substitute n as 2 or 3 or 4, let's try and decode what that information tells you. So S3 will be what? Or S4 for that matter will be what? Sum of first 4 terms. Now first 4 terms are quite a significant number of terms. Or sum of first 3 terms means all the 3 terms of the AP added together. In the sum of one term, that was not the case because there was nothing before it. But when I say S4, I'm talking about 4 terms of the AP. So there's a difference, right? So that means addition of 4 terms were done. So imagine if I have to find S2, what will I get? I'll get the sum of first 2 terms. In this case, it will be 3 to the 6 plus 2, 8. Now S2 is 8, S1 is 5. So S1 is basically A itself. So we have found. But do you think S2 gives you the second term? It doesn't. It doesn't. S2 gives you the sum of first term and the second term. So it was like there is a fill in the blanks. So first term is 5. There is a fill in the blanks. And the question says the second term was, the sum of first 2 terms was 8. Now it's your job to figure out the second term. And what is the fill in the blanks? It's 3. That means you do S2 minus S1 to get T2, the second term of the AP, which is 8 minus 5 equals to 3. Okay, now we will come to the question. Let's see what we have here. So the expression given to us is 5n square plus 3n. Okay, now its mth term is 168. The question is saying mth term is 168. Mth term means, look, you have to understand, if I found the mth term of any AP, it will be a plus m minus 1 into d, and that would be equals to 168, correct? The question has not given me the general expression. They have given me the expression for sum of n terms, not for the general term. Okay, so what I have till now is 5n square plus 3n. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out the values of a and d using that. So S1 we just saw is nothing but a. So let's replace n with 1. We'll get 5 plus 3, which is 8. So S1 is equals to 8 is also equals to 8. The first term of this AP is 8. Now we are going to find S2. So 5 times 2 square plus 3 times 2. So 2 square is 4, 5s are 20 and 6, so 26. But remember, this is S2. How do you find the common difference? Doing S2 minus S1, you will get the T2. And once you have the T2, you can subtract second minus first term and you will get the common difference. So let's find out the second term of this AP by doing S2 minus S1, which is 26 minus 8. And 26 minus 8, if I'm not wrong, is 18. So the second term is 18. What do you think the common difference would be? Second term minus first term. So 18 minus 8, which is 10. So I have the value of common difference also now. Now I'm going to come back to the information earlier that I was trying to crack. The value of A and D, now I'm better prepared to address this. I have the value of A with me. I have the value of D with me. I just don't know the value of M till now. So I can easily figure it out, right? So A is what? 8 plus M minus 1 times 10 is equals to 168. Take the 8 that side, you will get 160 is equals to 10 times M minus 1. 10 goes that side, this becomes 16. M minus 1 is 16 and therefore M is equals to 17 is what we will get. Okay. So the value of M is 17. Okay. Now moving forward, the question says find the 20th term of this AP. 20th term of an AP is nothing but A plus 19D. Please remember, we talked about this earlier, guys, when we were looking at this particular slide. The fifth term is A plus 4D, 17th term is A plus 16D. So the question says find the 20th term. What is it exactly asking? A plus 19D. Now, A is 8 and 19 times 10, right? So 8 plus 190, which gives us 198 as the 20th term of the AP. So it's a good question. You get to learn a lot from this question. It's a conceptual question. It's not just your any random question you can pick. This question explains a lot of problems in your textbooks, R.S. Agrawal, R.D. Sharma, Selena, whichever book you refer. This is a question you will definitely find. It has been asked in boards multiple times. Please refer to it as many times as you want. Okay. I hope you have understood this one. Let's move to our next question. Okay, so what do we have? S5 plus S7. So again, they're talking in terms of S5 and S7s. So we have to remember our job is still to chase the value of A and D. Even in the previous question that we did, the moment we figured out the values of A and D as 8 and 10, the question started opening up. So the entire game in AP is to figure out the value of A and D. If you have figured that out properly, you will be all right. Okay, let's move to this question. So they are saying S5 plus S7. So S5 is what? N by 2, 2A. Sorry, I should write 5, I think. Yeah, N is already given. My bad. So 5 by 2, 2A plus N minus 1. Again, I will write the formula so that you can refer. 2 plus N minus 1 into D. That's the formula I'm using for, this is the formula for sum of N terms. 2A plus 5 minus 1, so 4D plus S7, so 7 by 2 and 2A plus 6D, and that is equals to 167. Let's simplify this. 5 by 2, 2 is common, A plus 2D, 7 by 2, 2 is common, A plus 3D, and that is equals to 167. 2 cancels out. I have 5A plus 10D, and then 2 cancels out. I have 7A plus 21D, and that is equals to 167. I have 12A plus 31D is equals to 167, equation number 1. The moment I started seeing things in terms of A and D, I knew that we are again heading towards an equation in terms of A and D. So this gives you the first equation, first simultaneous equation in terms of A and D, and the second piece of information will give you the second equation that you need in terms of a and d. So S10 means 10 by 2 and 2a plus 9d, and that is equals to 235, right? So if you simplify this, this will become 5, so this will become 10a plus 45d is equals to 235, equation number 2. So I have equation number 1, sorry, I should have written this as 12a, my bad, this is 12a. So I will write the equations one below another. So 12a plus 31d is equals to 167, and 10a plus 45d is equals to 235. I'm going to make their constant coefficients as similar. So 12 equation, I will multiply the whole thing by 5, and this whole equation I will multiply with 6. As a result, what do I get? 60a, 5 ones are 5, 5 threes are 15, 155d, and 5 sevens are 35, 5 3, 5 6 are 33, 3 carry 3, 5 ones are 5 3, 8. And here I will get 60a plus 6 5s are 30, 0 3, 6 4s are 24, 3 27, 270d, and 6 5s are 30, 0 3, 6 3s are 18, 3 21, 1 carry 2, 6 2s are 12, 2 14. And I'm going to subtract the two equations. So 270 minus, so 60a and 60a cancels out, 10 minus 5 is 5, and 6 minus 5 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1. 115d is equals to negative, actually. 0 minus 10 minus 5 is 5, 3 is 6. This. And if you multiply this by 5, no, sorry. This is 10 minus 5 is 5. This is 10 minus 3. My bad. This is 575. So when you cancel the d's, sorry, the negative signs, the value of d you will get is 5. 115 times 5 is 575. Once I have the value of d, I'm going to get the value of a. So 12a plus 5 ones are 5, 5 threes are 15. 155 is equals to 167. 12a is equals to 12. So a is equals to 1. I have the value of a, d and a both. The question says find the AP. Find the AP means you write 3-4 terms of the AP and then you are done with it. So first term is 1, the second term will be 6, and then 11, and then 16, and then so on. This is how you solve the question. So by now you would have realized that figuring out the values of A and D using simultaneous equations is absolutely important. If you can figure that out, most of your job is done already. Okay. So on that note, I would like to close the session for today. I hope you have understood everything. Learn and revise through the formulas. Please pay attention to figuring out the values of A and D, and do not get confused if a question mentions L, the last term of an AP. So refer the formulas, go through these questions. These are important questions. In the next video, we are going to catch up with more questions on AP. I hope you have understood everything that I have explained till now. All the best. Keep rocking, guys. Okay? Do not stress over the exams. It's all right. It will happen. Don't worry.